Testing one, two, testing one, two, three. Testing, testing, yeah. Testing one, two, testing. Hello, 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 hello.
Call Roslyn Capital now to get your free gold kit, free silver kit, and free IRA kit with smart ways you can transfer or roll over your IRA. Call 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900. When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
President Biden heading back to friendly California today for campaign events as he faces new calls to get out of the race, ditch his candidacy, and make way for someone else. Axios reporting that many top Democrats are convinced that if the election were today, Biden would lose a rematch with former President Trump, and that some leading Democrats fear the campaign might be stumbling past a point of no return. And it gets worse. Top pollster Nate Silver is echoing the same warning, writing in a scathing blog post that personally I crossed the Rubicon in November, concluding that Biden should stand down if he wasn't going to be able to run a normal re-election campaign, meaning things like conduct a Super Bowl interview. Yes, it's a huge risk, and yes, Biden can still win, but he's losing now, and there's no plan to fix the problems other than hoping that the polls are wrong. And Morgan Ortega's hope is not a strategy.
It's not. That's true. I mean, listen, the American people are not stupid. So they see what's before them at press conferences. They see what's before them on the world stage. What's interesting to me is the new coverage by the New York Times and other center-left media outlets. For 3 years, they have known that President Biden did not have, maybe the mental acuity that we're used to President Obama, President George W. Bush, not to, bring the two current frontrunners in. He doesn't have the same strength as modern presidents. We all know that. It's just now that we've really seen the coverage. So for me, I asked myself, okay, why is the New York Times, why are other places aggressively covering it? I think it's because they're trying to push him out, and they're just going to continue this negative coverage, this hard coverage, until he makes a decision to step aside.
I think that's exactly right. Cheryl, this is from the Robert Furr report I want to show our viewers. So this language is from the special counsel report. He did not remember when he was vice president. His memory appeared hazy. He was a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Special counsel.
Testing one, two.
However, New York Times publisher says that Biden's campaign, the White House, is very upset about the coverage of age. I mean, this is just a fact.
Well, they can be upset all they want, but unfortunately now the media is covering what the American public is seeing. The polls are showing that, and you can't ignore that. What the Biden campaign obviously is wanting to do is they're hoping that if the nominee is Donald Trump, that it becomes an attack on Trump, because the economy is not doing well under Joe Biden. You've got nearly 18% inflation. But also, too, you think about this is an incumbent running for re-election who's very vulnerable right now. Gallup did a real great deep dive about 5 elections where An incumbent did well, and an incumbent did not do well. And who did the best? Well, when people were very positive about the economy, it was Bill Clinton, 1996. He got reelected. Guess who lost in 1992? George H.W. Bush. He was defeated, again, because of those economic issues, which is what I look at. But at the end of the day, whether you heard Karine Jean-Pierre come out the day after Biden's disastrous press conference on Thursday night, and you mentioned her report, and she said he wanted to go out there. It's because that's what the reporters were calling her up and asking her, why did you let him out there? And her answer had to be, because he wanted to go. There was no defense.
Interesting. And former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, it was really interesting to hear her talk about one of the biggest problems for the Biden campaign. Lawrence, listen to this.
Testing 1, 2.
The campaign has right now is not about their communications or messaging staff or whatever it may be. It's that there's still a swath of the country, including Democrats and independents, who believe that Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee. He is going to be the nominee. This is the contrast, and that is a challenge the campaign has. They can't entirely solve, but it's something people just need to start getting on board with and fighting the fight.
Everyone's got to get on board.
Well, he is going to be the nominee. And when it goes to the president's mental acuity, that is the problem that everyone sees. But the border is the issue that everyone feels. And I think the White House is dealing with two issues. I live in Harlem, Boston, Chicago. And when you have black and brown neighborhoods that traditionally vote for Democrats, these are people that are voters for the party that are saying that the immigration issue is an issue for them. You got Brexiters that are going to migrants that are here illegally. You got former schools that the district said they had no funding for that are going to the migrants. That is the issue that is going to start galvanizing a lot of people that are within the Democratic Party base. It's the same issue that I made for Nikki Haley about understanding your voters. When the border becomes the number one issue for Democrat voters, you know you got an issue. And I don't think he can make up any ground before the reset of that State of the Union.
Yeah, and he thinks one executive order will solve it, Emily. I mean, highly unlikely.
Totally. This is like when you have to be in a bathing suit for your summer family vacation, and you're like, well, if I start myself a week ahead, how about you just start 6 months ahead, going for a walk every day? You can't cram
Testing.
the last minute and expect it to have an actual impact on Americans' lives. Or maybe it could if he takes back those 94 swipes of the pen. I have to point out in that deep dive by Gallup, it's all this chess match, because numbers matter. And what stands out to me, there's just two questions. Are you satisfied with the president's performance? And are you happy with the state of the nation right now? And at the end of the day, these lines in the sand, it was 50% approval rate. That was sort of the red line of if you have 50% job approval rate for the president, that's what's going to get them back in office for an incumbent. Our president is enjoying 41%, and 50 was the red line. And then when you talk about American satisfaction with the state of the nation, the red line was 40%. We started this year with 20% of Americans being satisfied with the state of the nation. And I don't know who those 20% are. They probably all live in D.C. But the bottom line, it doesn't look good for him. So he should think about plans for stepping aside.
Yeah, and meanwhile, his polling is right there with Jimmy Carter, according to Gallup. And Jimmy Carter did not go on to win re-election. So we will see. We'll follow it closely. Vice President Harris reportedly wants to take on a new project, turning around